Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be going over what was revealed at the Tokyo Game Show panel that they did for Final Fantasy XIV X Monster Hunter Wilds, this time for the Final Fantasy XIV side of things. I did a reaction of the trailer for Omega, and I avoided watching the entire fight. For the special collaboration panel for Final Fantasy XIV side, we're just going to be going over the details that were revealed. They did actually do the entire normal mode fight on stream. I have not watched the entire thing. I skipped through a little bit of it to see if there was like the needing to chug the potion mechanic, and there was like a food buff mechanic, or there was like a food buff that you get while you're in there. I think that's just well fed. I think that's just saying that all the characters were well fed. But yeah, we're going to be going over the details. We also have the updated special site, which has all of the rewards listed now. So we have a much better idea of everything that's going to be coming to this collaborative event. So we're just going to be skipping through here. They started, of course, with on-stage introductions for Yoshi P and Foxclon, and they thanked everyone for being there, talked a little bit about Final Fantasy XIV, and of course revealed something that all of us already knew. Final Fantasy XIV patch 7.35 is Tuesday, October 7th. I'm telling people that's when it was going to be. It followed pattern, and then when we found out that the Monster Hunter collaboration was coming October 7th, it made even more sense. They said early October, which basically meant October 7th. So yeah, that was completely expected. By the way, another way you could tell when a patch is going to be when I guess this isn't 100% consistent, but most of the time, when a PvP season is 2 weeks out from ending, which is when the patch is most of the time, they put out a notification. They do it 2 weeks before. So when we got the notification, earlier last week, then we knew that we were going to be getting the patch on the 7th. Now, this is Pilgrim's Traverse, Quantum, Hildebrand, Yaqui, and the Monster Hunter collaboration. Kind of wish the Monster Hunter collaboration wasn't coming out the same day as Pilgrim's Traverse and Quantum, but it is what it is. The content will always be there. The Arkveld event is permanent, so it is not something that you can miss. You don't need to resubscribe for it. You can do it if and when you come back in the future. So yeah, that's just them going over 7.35 stuff that we already knew. And then we get into the Arkveld stuff. So they put out a new trailer for Arkveld. Again, there's a lot of mechanics, visual fluff present in it. We're not going to be watching it here, but it is a pretty decent watch. And they did upload that trailer separately to YouTube. So if you do want to watch that, it is going to be available. We're mostly just looking for the details. So Windward Wilds and Windward Wilds Extreme, we knew we were getting the 2 difficulties already. However, there's one thing that's different about this. It is 1 to 8 party members for both the normal and the extreme. So I think when it says register, I think it's just saying the duty finder, like the normal way you would enter the duty or the raid finder, where you don't need to have the full, like a full group already made. I'm pretty sure that you can't do the fight with less than this number of people on content. Obviously, I expect that this will be soloable in the future, or some capacity of it, similar to Rathalos. But from what I could see when I clicked through without watching the videos, there's a lot of stuff happening. So it's definitely a far more involved encounter than Rathalos was, which is a way more traditional one. Now, for gear, they showed us the same screenshots that we have on the special site. However, I will show you this later as proof. Every job is getting a weapon. Nobody should have expected otherwise, but I definitely saw some people who were concerned that there would not be weapons for every single job, but there will be. So there's that, thank goodness. Then we got to see some mounts. Now I said mounts because yes, there is a second mount, but it isn't what I thought it would be. The normal mount here is the Sacred, which I'm fairly certain you will acquire just from completing the normal mode. And then you have, of course, the second mount, which is, I really wanted an Arkveld mount, but I'm not going to be mad at this. I still do want an Arkveld mount. I think an Arkveld mount would have been really cool, and I think a lot of people expected an Arkveld mount. So unless they're hiding it, which I don't think they are, this also makes sense for an extreme mount, because I'm fairly certain that we're going to be carding a decent amount in extreme anyway, so looking forward to that. But yeah, this is the other mount. Then there's also going to be furnishings. There's going to be all sorts of, there's minions. Yeah, we have the Vigor Wasp, and we have the Sacred, the baby. Actually, it's not even a baby Sacred. Yeah, it is a baby Sacred. Then we have furnishings. You can see, there's the poster on the left-hand side. You could have this giant Like, I guess it's a mural of Arkveld here, and very specifically in Monster Hunter Wilds too. That's Monster Hunter Wilds Arkveld, not our Arkveld. You can see from the environment around it. You can see the weapon stand, just barely. You can kind of see the weapon stand. I'm kind of blocking it a little bit. You see there on the bottom left, right here, where I'm shaking my camera. Don't know why I'm doing that, but yeah, you can see that. So there's the furnishings, and then we have, what else? We have, come on. Oh, more furnishings. You can actually set palicos in your house as well. You have, you know, the grill, you have the place to sit. So you have all that stuff. Then you have outdoor furnishings. This we saw on the special site, so we already knew these were coming. The training dummy, the tents, again, the meat. Everyone loves the meat. I know I love meat. And then we skip ahead a little bit more. There's framer kits, a fashion accessory, there's orchestrion rolls, so all of that is present. Now again, we will be pulling up the special site so we can actually see the whole list of rewards. We can't actually see every weapon, but we are going to see a few more. So then for about 20 minutes here, they actually fight Arkveld right here. And while I'm not going to show you anything too major, you can see there are a lot of flashy lights and AoEs quite frequently. So that's in case you want to avoid spoilers of the fight and doing it blind. There's just a few quick screenshot previews as we look for the end screen. So then we come to the end screen and they beat him, you know, yay. And then they still have to carve scales out of him. Scales are how you're going to be obtaining a decent number of the rewards as well. And I do wonder if Extreme's just going to have more scales. I actually wouldn't be surprised at this point, because I don't know if any of these rewards are Extreme exclusive. When we look through the list, maybe there's like a framer kit, but I don't know what they're doing for Extreme exclusive rewards. Now, speaking of rewards, they do have one more showcase to do, and that is of the weapons. Let me actually get to this section right here, as it'll make more sense to do it that way. So we can see the actual weapon itself, as Yoshi P shows off. There is, of course, also the armor set right there. So you can see Arkveld's scales kind of glowing on the weapon. I'm going to put myself in the bottom right. I think that'll work better for here. So yeah, you can get a decent display from that one. Let me see if we back it up a little bit more, if we can get an even better display. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because they're in the bottom left anyway. They're just much smaller than I am. They don't. Their ego's not as big as mine. Let's see. Yeah, so that is the Black Mage Staff, which is the hammer model. We knew that that was the hammer model because it's shown on the site. So there are some weapons we haven't seen before. So there you have the two-handed sword, which also, of course, all of them are going to have that glowing effect with the Arkveld scales. We saw that on the special site as well. Now, you can see here with Sage, you have like mini hunting horns for each of the things, which is, you know, I'm not going to lie, is also a pretty smart design. So you can see those. You can see this is a Dragoon Spear. We saw that on the site. That is the White Mage Staff right there. So it's the White Mage one is not a hammer. It is a separate type of design. What weapon design is that normally? Because I swear that's a normal weapon design. Not sure entirely. I can already see what's going on with the Viper in the background over there. Yeah, there you go. That, trying to get a good look at it. Show it from all around. Interesting angle. Then you have the Viper weapon, which is the Insect Glaive, it looks like. And then for Pictomancer, the Pictomancer one's pretty interesting. I like the brush. The Arkveld brush and the Arkveld. It's actually a really good looking brush and palette in the other hand. I really like the sword and shield. I mean, I love the SNS for Arkveld normally too, so I'm not really surprised, but you can maybe kind of see it over there on the right. I mean, you can see it's a paladin at the very least. And then I'm trying to see... Oh, and then the other one was the great sword over on the right. Okay, I was trying to make sure I wasn't missing any of the rewards. They turned around for us. So yeah, now keep in mind, every job does get a weapon, not just these jobs, so you don't have to worry about that. We do also get to see the little sacred, and then I don't... Yeah, there's the Vigor Wasp, of course. So no, I do not believe this Vigor Wasp can actually heal you out in the open world. All of them on their sacrets here, all the different sizes of the sacrets. Running around, flying around, and then I believe he also shows off the cart. Yes, and then he shows off the cart. This is honestly, this just looks like a great way to travel in, you know, comfort. If these sacreds would stop running us over. The whole crew except for one. That one guy is just like, no, I don't want to do it. And in case you're wondering, of course, yes, of course, they can fly. It is a mount in Final Fantasy XIV. So if they really need to ship you, look at them running through the sky. Oh, it looks so silly. But yeah, that's going to be the other mount that we have. And I think that's all they show off reward-wise, and they just go over the other part of the collaboration. They go over their sponsors. They re-announce fan festivals, so this is just their, QVC section. There's going to be a screenshot sweepstakes for Final Fantasy XIV. And then on top of that, they reminded everyone that Tactics Ivalice Chronicles comes out Tuesday, September 30th, and more importantly, I suppose, well, I guess not more importantly, but also that there's going to be a collaboration outfit and orchestral coming to the online store. Ugh. I mean, some of these outfits we already have in game, so it kind of makes sense, but I don't think anyone's going to be thrilled about very specifically an online store collaboration. This comes out the same day that Tactics Ivalice comes out. Maybe they'll do a sale at the very least, but I don't buy stuff off the MOG station, so this doesn't really change. I wouldn't have bought this anyway. Like, it doesn't matter where it was. I wouldn't have used it most likely, but for most people, yeah, they're not going to be pleased, especially with the Gafgarian outfit, which actually looks really good, in my opinion. And that was it for that. Now, like I stated, the special site also got an update so you can actually see all of the rewards as they are listed. Now, it does say there's exclusive rewards for that, so I'm curious what they are. So you have the Hope armor set, no Arkfeld armor set. I didn't think there was going to be an Arkfeld armor set. Like, I've been saying, I don't know. I didn't think it was reasonable to expect it. But it looks like there's an augmented weapons, which will probably come from the extreme version. So I wonder if they were showing us the unaugmented versions or the augmented versions. Because you have the Veldian stuff and the augmented Veldian stuff. So this looks like it's going to be the extreme trial weapons. No telling what item level they are. We can't hover over them just yet. I don't know if they set it on the special site. Then there's also the Sacred Horn, the Feline Support Team Cart Horn, the Sacred Fledgling Vigor Wasp. So as you can see, no Arkfeld mount. I don't think they're hiding one. I just don't think there is one. The Farm Escapes for the visual bits in the house. Arkveld, Raydao, Omega's Ice Shard Cliff. That's pretty cool. Uthduna, Jin Dahad, New Udra. There's the Greatsword Stand, the Pendant Lamp, the Banner, the Lodge Chair, the Makeshift Camp, the Indoor Grill, the Outdoor Grill, the Pop-Up Camp, the Striking Dummy, and then the supplier permits for the Junkmonger, Servant Mender, and Material Supplier. And then, of course, the Hunter kits, as well as the Mizutsune Parasol that we saw earlier, as well as the various Orchestrion rolls. So, quite a few rewards that are going to be here, especially if you're someone who wants to collect all of the base weapons. Whether or not you want to collect all of the augmented weapons, it's entirely up to you. Still would have liked to have seen an Arkfeld mount coming from the Extreme, but I'm just going to assume that the cart, maybe the cart is from Extreme. I just think in that case, you probably should have done an Arkfeld mount. But that covers all of the most important details coming out of the Final Fantasy XIV TGS panel. That covers the Monster Hunter Wilds collaboration. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned. I will be doing gameplay, footage, guides, and all that on Arkfeld when it comes out. But of course, I am going to be doing Pilgrim's Traverse first. So it's probably going to be more so just thoughts, initial clear videos, stuff like that, I guess. Because by the time I actually get to Arkveld, the people who aren't doing Quantum, there will be plenty of information out already. So we'll see how we're going to actually structure that. But I will see all of you in the next video. And until then, take care.